Hi, I'm Kathy Callahan-Brady, and welcome to In the Trenches. And today we have a great guest with us. This is Jay Chappell. Thank you for coming. I really appreciate it.
Happy to be here, Kathy.
Yeah. So this In the Trenches gives us an opportunity to thank you, learn a little bit more about your business, as well as talk about some of those lessons learned. We really like the painful ones because those are the ones that we learn the most from. So first, tell us. No, wait a second. Actually, I think what's first is I need to thank you. I first met you when Carl Grant introduced us, and you were
That's
doing
correct.
the reality check. And
Yeah,
you
that was
were,
probably like 2 years ago, maybe.
yeah. So you gave our clients really good advice, and I loved following up with you this morning. Which ones have gotten funded?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good to know.
Yeah. So it worked really well, your
Yeah.
advice. So thank you for that. I appreciate it.
Welcome.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about your business.
Yeah, so I'm Jay Chappell. I'm the CEO and founder of a company called ParkMyCloud. Essentially, we help people turn stuff off when it's not being used and resize it in the cloud. The theory behind that is the cloud's a utility. Mm-hmm. So just like at home with water, heat, etc., lights, if you're not in the room and you're not using them, you're getting charged for them. The cloud is the same way. So when enterprises put workloads and applications into the cloud, if they go home at nights and weekends and they're not doing anything with those particular resources, then they're getting charged for them. We help them identify idle and underutilized resources and save tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars per month, depending on the size of the company.
Very important. How long have you been in business?
We have been, this July will be 4 years, so 3.5 years-ish. So we're working on 4 years.
Okay. Is this your first business, 14th business?
No, this is first business.
Yeah, really?
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Hopefully it'll last. We'll see how the exit works out.
Okay. So did you raise significant amounts of money or capital?
We raised about $4.5 million so far.
Okay.
So
it was easy, right?
Yeah, it's a piece of cake.
Yeah.
Everybody just wants to write a check.
Exactly.
It's a great experience. It's a lot of no's.
Yeah, well, you got to go through a lot of no's to get to a yes, right?
That's correct.
So let's talk a little bit about that because I know all of our clients are trying to raise money. They're always standing in front of somebody pitching. So tell us a little bit about your experience in terms of raising funds.
Yeah, I think I learned a couple things. First of all, you mentioned Carl Grant and Cooley, and there's a lot of people out there that can help you network. Mm-hmm. But I think the important thing is once they help you network, you actually have to be in the right space for the people you're talking to in terms of size. Mm-hmm. So if you're looking for a couple $100,000 with a pre-GA product, you really need to be talking to angel investors and not venture funds. And so I think the important thing to realize is, what space you're in, and do the people you're talking to invest in that space? And then number two is what stage are you in? Are you in a stage where you can show that you have traction, therefore you talk to people that care about having traction, or are you pre-traction, or do you have revenue, things like that. I think that was the number one lesson I learned is that don't go out and just sort of shoot and spray. You have to have a plan, a game plan, and you have to be tactical about it.
Yeah, great advice. I always said I just hate it when they go out and start pitching before they're really ready to and have a solid foundation, which is the reason why the reality check was just so valuable to them. And we call it reality check because we want them to mess up there first before they're standing in front of a real advisor.
Yep.
So that was 2 years ago.
Yep, I believe so. And I think one of the things too is that when we talked about people the reality check, they were talking about themselves and their product, but not so much about what the value is to that investor and how are they going to help them get a return on their investment, whether that's 2, 3, 5x or whatever stage they're looking for, and then what the exit is for them. And I think that's what the investor cares about.
Yeah, they need to turn it around and start thinking about the other person versus their business.
Yeah.
Good advice. So is there anything that you can leave these guys with in terms of other lessons that you might have learned, piece of advice that you would leave them with?
Yeah, I mean, specifically related to running a company, it's interesting. I'll just say that. Everybody has an opinion. We really try at ParkMyCloud, though. We have a stand-up every Tuesday evening. So, we all talk about what we're doing, marketing, sales, product development, product management. So I always want to make sure that everybody knows where we are and what we're doing. And also as I'm sort of open about communication, my background sort of sales and marketing. So as we were raising money in different rounds, we did I guess you wouldn't call it an angel, and then we did a seed, and then we did a bridge round. And as we were going through the process, I communicated that to people, letting them know sort of what we're doing, who we're talking to, and what that means for the company. So I think that's kind of important, make sure everybody's buy-in and understands what we're doing. I would also say the third thing is that everything takes longer than you think,
Boy, that's
regardless of who you're talking to. So we've actually gone through some M&A related activity, and you can get all the way almost to the end, and then something happens outside your control. So we were actually talking to a company about a year ago, and they ended up getting acquired by a big company for $500 million. And obviously the transaction with us got put on hold. So things like that are just out of your control, and you just have to make sure that you have kind of like sales. You have to have a pipeline. So if you're you can't just narrow in on a investor.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So if you're 4 years old, give me that kind of timeline. Was it just you, or there's a partner when you first started?
Yeah, so we had. We actually outsource a lot of our stuff, so I'm not going to say that's good or bad one way or the other. It's just what we decided to do. So when we kicked off, because my background is sales and marketing, I can't write code. So when we kicked off, we had myself, a marketing, a platform architect, and sort of I call him CTO, and we outsourced our initial alpha version of our product to a firm located in Maryland, and they built that for us, and then we took that to customers to begin with. So we sort of went through an alpha beta stage, and then that was July of 2015. By January of 2017, we had an enterprise grade solution that large companies can use. And now we have 900 plus customers on our platform in over 25 countries.
Wow.
And we've got some really good brands on there, McDonald's, Unilever, Fox, are some of the companies that use our platform.
Wow.
And so I think if I look back now, everything was in stages.
Right.
When I was way back in the time machine, I didn't foresee how the stages would work out, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So learned as we went along.
How many employees now?
We have about 15 people now.
Wow.
Yeah.
900 customers, 15 people, raised $4 million,
Yeah.
and in 4 years.
Yeah.
Bad.
But we have a SaaS platform, so it's self-service. So
Right.
people can access the product. Enterprises can access the product on their own. And as they do that, there's no real, we don't really have a cost of sale associated with that. So we've never been on a customer site. We do everything remote.
Oh,
and
wow.
about half of our customers we've probably never spoken to in terms of a sales process.
Right.
I mean, obviously we interact with them through like chat or support and things like that. But the larger customers, you go through the typical process of however they find you or you find them. Then you do a demo, sort of a remote proof of concept, and then go through their tedious MSA,
Right.
contract agreement, which
Right.
usually takes anywhere from 3 to 5 months. But that's for us, we can land a very large logo within 3 to 5 months with no feet on the ground. So it's
Wow.
kind of unique in that regard.
So how'd you come up with it?
We were funny enough about 5 years ago. We were kind of talking about a broader cloud management play. And one of the things we had in our platform, customers kept asking about, hey, can we just have that component by itself? And we're like, of course not. You've got to pay for the whole house, not just the one room. And so after like a bunch of meetings, we had like an aha moment and said, why don't we just kind of focus on being a self-service SaaS play that solved a single problem and does it really well. So we solve a unique problem now, and now we've started adding the features to solve more problems in our platform now that we're able to nail down how that works.
Keep it simple.
That's kind of how we, it wasn't a brilliant idea. Like I didn't sit in a room with 4,000
Right.
smart people and go, hey, let's do this. It was really driven through customer demand.
Well, that's actually.
But I have been in the IT space now for, this is 2019, right? Yeah, so 19 years. So I started in 2000 in
Okay.
space. So I do know the space and software
Right.
very well. It's not like I just,
Yeah, it just happened into it.
woke up one day and said, hey, I'm starting a winery and I know nothing about wine. So
Yeah, I can get that though. And a lot of entrepreneurs do. But okay, all great advice. I really appreciate it. Do you want to leave them with your favorite book, quote, motto?
Yeah, so actually, I'm not a huge, I read all the time, but I read like stuff just to,
Stop thinking.
Stop thinking.
About all the.
So my biggest thing I've always told people all the time is never lose alone. So that means that, I mean, you're not an expert at everything. So I think it's really important to listen to advice from people that are A, smarter than you, or B, know more about that subject area than yourself. And especially when it comes to sales, you always want a second set of ears to hear what the customer's saying, because they might have a different view of what the customer's saying than you. So we always have our big motto is never lose alone.
Yeah, very wise. God, I could have paid you for that one to say that, because that's has always been my biggest belief. You know, hang out with people smarter than you, which is the reason why I love the Strategic Growth and Advisory Board and the reality checks. So, yeah, thanks for saying that. I didn't even have to pay you for it. It was very cool.
Happy to do it.
And thanks for coming.
No, I enjoyed it. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, me too. Hey, you guys, so thanks for watching In the Trenches. If you want to learn more about our advisors and the people who support FITSE, check out fitse.org and have a great day.